Okay, hi to everyone. And let's change position. I talked about making a recording of this session at this point because I actually managed to get in the final table in the MTT. So let's see how it goes. I think against this small sizing I can be calling with the pocket trees. We also have some possibility to hit like backdoor straight draw like that. These other games are 5-man SNGs that I have been grinding, and pretty good results from them so far as well. But okay, now we are not priced into call anymore. That would be quite heroic stuff. Oh yeah. Have had quite a few some interesting hands on this MTT as well. So, and I think one in SNG or a couple in SNG as well. So probably going to post them on my poker strategy blog at some point. Bottom left we are pretty nice situation. So this is kind of interesting situation if the button folds, and if the small blind shoves now I have to fold, because if I call, the button is most likely folding, but I think I will just raise here. It should be quite unlikely that this guy goes for limp shove. So in a way it's not horrible move to make, but can't remember when I would have been in such situation before. Because when I raised here I also saw a lot of strength, so not many players are going to try to abuse that situation, I suppose. And now we would have team play possibility here on the bottom left. In the MTT I will open the suited king on the cutoff. Also kind of interesting situation that there is no like clear chip leader on the game in the MTT. And this will be just check fold, but don't have anything really. Backdoor straight draw. If I had king 6 of diamonds I would probably see it and then barrel if the turn comes diamond and so on. Also there is one extremely short stack, like 2 big blinds, so we don't really want to, or well, if there is a situation that we have a decent EV, of course we will be stacking off against the other big stacks as well, but probably not aiming for really thin spots necessarily. Bottom left, I suppose we could try to bluff here. Only problem in these semi-bluffs is that we are drawing pretty. I will actually go for sizable. Let's split pot here. So we have a lot of 10x also, so if the villain doesn't have the 10, and we might also have made flush as well, so I suppose most of the 2 pairs should be folding at that point. And king queen will be stacking offhand here on the bottom right. Well, small stack doubled up. On the bottom left we could shove, but I prefer to sometimes also check these AX, weak AX hands, that's so that we have some of the AXs in our range. And this guy goes for decently sizable 3-bets. If it was suited, I would probably defend here, but I don't think ace-10 will be profitable one. Of course, depending on the big stack chip leader, he might attack really wide tier as well, because of the small stack in the game, as it tends to increase his fold equity quite a bit. Well, unfortunately he doubled up again, so now he's not anymore exactly short stack. So we can see here it's 203 euro for the next one. Winner would have it almost 1k. And on the bottom right, this is a situation where I would also overcall if the small blind shoves, because small blind range tends to be quite wide in spot like that. And now this guy 3-bets again. Good to follow that if he's 3-betting extremely often, then we definitely have reason to be 4-betting wider and so on. On the bottom left, if it goes check on the turn, we might bluff some of the rivers, and I think on the bottom right I can't fold here. Might be attacking just because of the dry flop. So in these sort of situations I sometimes like to bluff these bottom and end of my range hands, and he sounds nasty spot in my opinion. Well, I don't know what he hopes to achieve with that play, but it's really tough to be calling with weaker hand. He probably calls really often when he... not this time. Not this time. Just checking back because we have some showdown value here in the King 6 bottom left. And bottom top left went check, so let's bet for value / protection. And total trash. Well, I think in here we can check back definitely, but I think also betting has some merit because we might deny some equity from the will lane and really nasty river on the... We are losing to AX now, which is going to be a decent portion of his range, so I probably have to fold. Well, yeah. Also, if he had some sort of like King 10 with spade draw, that completed as well, so well, I maybe could open that suited queen, but this David guy has been quite active, so I don't know how often I get to post flop. I mean, from position, able to play from position when he's on the button. And I go for open shove here. It's even stack situation on the other will lane, so pretty decent spot to just shout here. And 4-6 will be showing hand. Yeah, that small stack did drop out, so we are actually, well, one of the smallest stacks. Not the smallest quite, but close, close. I think this guy has so far folded quite a lot against races after limping. Of course, doesn't mean that he's folding now, but nice situation. Set up spot. Crappy ace on the big blind. Well, against normal raise we will be defending. And these are kind of weak spot overall. Well, now we have not. This is kind of interesting spot. It's really good for him to start bluffing if he has some total air type of hand, because he has a lot more AX than I have. So I think it's pretty solid line to just check call. And it does pair the board. Well, if he bets, I don't see too much point in raising overall. I mean, it's really tough to get weaker hands to call. And while I think my hand is going to be best almost always, he might occasionally have like queen 10 or something. So I think it's best to just flat. And he had the AX as well. I'm not going to shove the queen 10. I don't think the bottom is going to be folding that often. Let's try to limp with 5-8. I will step here and make it like a tiny bit bigger than just min bet. And if it comes like 6 or 9, we can think about double barreling. And unfortunately, I don't really want to defend with ace-9 off. Again, if this was suited, I would definitely continue. But I think one of the problems defending those type of hands is just that we are so often going to be not hitting flop in any sensible way. And even if we hit like a high flop, we have the obvious kicker problem, little chance to improve most likely, and so on. So usually it's better to defend many other type of hands, like some suited connectors and that type of stuff. That type of stuff. I think I will just shove the pocket jacks. We are 20 big blind deep. If we were a bit deeper, I would go for small 3-bets, but limping queen jack, so that's, of course, if he shoves, I kind of have to fold. But if he makes small raise, we can definitely call. Pocket sixes. if this guy 3-bets again, the question is, do we want to just ship it? I think it's kind of a borderline when we are still opening from the hijack. So, like if we were opening from button and small blind, active player would be 3-betting, then I think definitely we want to be 4-betting good portion of time. Okay, we got €50 game running as well. I think we can value bet here. Of course, if we check raises, it's kind of nasty, but I suppose he can have quite many. Like, well, that was crappy card. Let's see if we are still good. Okay. Well, he had hit the 2 pairs on the turn already. And again, on the better side of the setup, not really, it doesn't matter what I do, we should have all-in situation with those hands. Well, king 6, let's just open fold, quite aggro opponent, at least the small blind guy, and big blind has decent shoving stack, so I think this, in a way, this is pretty nice tournament that, like, even in the final table we are still pretty deep stacked. So if you want that type of tournament, that it's not just shove situation. I actually think I go for like thin values as protection bet here, even though it's 3-way, because when it goes check flop and turn, I think we have the best hand actually pretty often. Almost always. Maybe some small pocket pair villains might have. I played, I think it was yesterday or day before that, this same MTT. I finished 10th, 10, and now it's a bit better. Of course, again, the next player, €270, so still quite a big chance to improve the price. I think we could try to squeeze here. Ace-9 won't be playing that well. It's kind of close. If we are going to be here, well, actually went to fold. Well, that was probably the worst outcome. Just thinking about that. Am I going to be committed if I make the 3-bet or not? But yeah, folding was the worst option to do it here, but maybe it was good. At least for that, if I had checked and that action happened, I would still have to fold it here, so maybe it was lucky outcome overall. Result oriented wise, can't really set mine on the bottom right. And that was a nice looking turn on the top left. Well, on the top right MTT we can either see it and plan to barrel, or we can check back because we have decent showdown value and playability on other streets. Unfortunately we don't improve, but if he checks there's no point in betting obviously, and we are still winning, so not bad, not bad. I wouldn't open a7 from the hijack anymore, but I think from cutoff we can go either way. And basically everyone folding is pretty much the best possibility, I would say. A7 obviously won't be the greatest hand from playability wise. Well, this guy has been decently active, but the only issue is this position we are in. Well, I'm going to be nitty. Let's check that. Let's check that spot later. If I had like 20 big blind, I would be shoving here, but I think we are a bit on the deeper side, and again we want to have some of the AXs definitely in flatting range. Of course, having suited ones might be better overall. Having a bit more playability and so on. I don't know if I beat really much at all in here. And when he goes that big, I doubt that he's going to value but weaker hand than mine. So we can definitely check on the river here, and I often check weakest AXs in tight situations, so that because if I always bet like ace or better, the issue is that my checking range becomes quite weak. But now we pretty much have to call, in my opinion, and we got him to bluff with the plus blocker, so pretty nice. I think I go for 3-bet fold here on the top left. Not going to open that 5-7. Again, we have the acro guy and shoving stack behind, so and we have one player out. Nice. Always good news. Now this is going to be quite a solid 4-bet shoving hand, in my opinion. If we had faced the 3-bet here, and now we have the nuts, that is one good. We want to size so that we can, if we lane calls, we can then go for reverse shove, but also not make it like totally absurdly big, so that we don't get him to fold too much. And basically now hoping that he has the queen and we are getting the maximum value by shoving bit over pot size here. But it seems like he didn't have probably some pair or something. Kind of funny, we are still smallest stack from the 4 players. Really extremely even stacks here. On the upper right, we can just call here. We have some showdown value, and we do hit the straight. Of course, there is flush possibility, but it's going to be mandatory bet here. Of course, don't really want to get raised, so because if the villain raises, he's basically saying that he has at least a straight here. Now, I think this pocket tens hand is pretty much mandatory. In a way, ICM is not absolutely huge at this point because we are also so even stacked overall. Sizing wise, I think we want to go for something like that. Because we are out of position, so don't really mind if he just folds. There are going to be so many overcard flops with the pocket tens. 6, 8. I think I will open fold, because if I open and small blind shoves, it's kind of spots that we probably have to call because of the pot odds, but I don't really love the situation, so. And not going to defend queen 5. I think it has, of course the price is great, but I don't really love that hand that much, because if we don't actually hit like 2 pairs, it's going to be quite nasty hand to play overall. Queen jack we can open, have to call against these 2 smaller stacks. Small blind we can definitely fold against, and we have pretty good equity. At least pre-flop, not necessarily on the flop anymore, but. And standard shove with these deuce. Do we luckbox that? Not this time. Not this time. Well, 5-4, I think it's pretty close. Pretty close overall. I'm not totally sure, it might be okay to call, possibly. Because it has so much equity, even though it's just really low cards. Not going to shove total crap against the smallest stack here, upper left. But for example, this spot is a lot better overall. I mean, if the small blind folds, big blind has to fold so much. If he understands ICM. And pretty much total crap on the MTT. Especially especially when we would be open raising against the chip leader big blind. Not sure if it was earlier. There was again also similar spots that this Foxy Lady raised the small blind limp and he faced Chow, but I'm not sure if it was the same guy, Davice, or was it someone else. And shoving on the bottom left, obviously. I think we could try to limp shove. We are of course 30 big blind deep, so it's kind of a borderline, but I think it should be fine. Don't really see point in betting it here. And tried to play tricky on the bottom right. Check, check, check. I think he mainly says that he has the jack or air. And he has the jack. But yeah, jack 10 would definitely be defending if I open raised. Of course I would probably see bet and want that against that specific hand, but of course, like the problem of raising those smallest pocket pairs is that William is probably not folding huge amount of time. So I think I go for small c-bet here. We have the best possible jack X. And we can check back the turn and then evaluate the river. Because I think going for a second bet is kind of thin. We are also blocking the jack X. Okay, he went for donk bet. Well, I think we have to call it here anyway. Kind of interesting river. Because now it's less likely, somewhat less likely that he has this queen. But at the same time it did complete the backdoor flush. Pretty annoying spots. We don't block any of the straight draws that he could have. He could have also some 6-7 type of 6-4 type of hand. So wow, that's something I really didn't expect to see. Jesus, not 3-betting and then turning into bluff, like what? At least I think that was such horribly played hand overall. Like, well, if you just call pre-flop, of course you want to call the flop, but I really don't understand that why to turn the hand into bluff. That seems pretty stupid to me, at least. Let's just try to bet here. Overall, I have a lot more A and King X hands than he has, so we can just single stab here. We don't have any equity pretty much, so I think I If I had spade, I would probably try to bluff the river sometimes, but or let the turn again, but of course we could just check fold the flop as well. It would be totally fine. I will just check back here. Ace-8, we have some backdoor equity. Well, let's see if he donk bets or something. Some straight backdoor equity, and of course hitting 8 is pretty solid as well. And once again he goes for bet. Let's just fold. Pocket jacks, and you can't play in good way. Or so they say. Oh. Don't go big. And everyone folds. Well, this is going to be, I think, kind of mandatory 3-bet. Of course, if we face 4-bet, it's kind of nasty, but at the same time, button and small blind should have such a huge ranges that and well, blind versus blind, we can stack off as well. It's definitely fine. And we can go for a bit smaller than 3x, and yeah, I think we have to call here. And please no 10. Ah, that was awesome. That was awesome. So one position up, and we are the chip leader as well. And getting total chunk 10. Well, we had suited hand of the small blind, but and that was one horrible call on the 50 euro. Not going to be plus EV. Well, let's hope that someone calls again. Well, seems like we have chance to get into big pot, big stack. I don't like to raise these 3-9 type of hands that much against the limp, because it's still going to be somewhat easily dominated hand against check calling range, and has really poor post-up playability. So more preferably raising like 3-5 off or something like that. Personally, no, Jesus, this someone has the ace. That's 6. 6 deuce call. That's the way. I think in here we have the pretty decent spot to go for 3-bet, especially in this stack situation. Villain is probably not 4-betting often at all. And really dry flop, we have some backdoor equity, so let's go for 1/3, and this guy once again is min betting. Won't be folding against river min bet. This time he had better. And we don't turn any equity, so this is just time to shut down. We don't want to be bluffing with absolutely nothing. if we hit 10 or jack, we might still win. We might have some just a high type of hand. Ace king, nasty. Oh, queen, not so nasty. Yeah, I will be just shoving here. We have pretty decent blockers, and unless we run into big trap hand, we have a lot of equity. And I think I will go for small raise. Let's try to build the pot, but keep the will lane in the pot as well. And can't call the king 7. Three jack. We don't really have much. I think I will just check back here and let's see if we turn some equity. Like if he checks now, we can definitely go for delayed c-bet, having some equity as well. And I like to size up somewhat when I go for the delayed c-bet, because in general I'm going to have quite a bit tighter range overall compared if I c-bet flop. And everything has missed, so at the same time I think we can rep quite a lot of value hands still that is also beating. Like if we have pocket 8s, I would definitely play in similar way. For example, or a6 plus pretty much. I can also have some 10x. So basically trying to get, even if he has like some king 7, he's obviously ahead, so if we get those to fold, that's good as well, but I think we can probably get some of the weaker pairs to fold. Okay, this guy didn't like the fold. Didn't even fold the a high. Oh well. But yeah, I would have a decent amount of value hands still here. So I don't mind the line. We have decently good king. I think against random guy we can probably try to get thin value on the turn as well. But I'm not going to triple barrel anymore. And if he bets the river, I will probably call this time. Well, let's try to see bet here on the bottom left. If it comes club, we could also shove the river, but on this turn I will be just check folding. I was thinking about just shoving pre-flop, but if I were a bit deeper, a bit shorter, I would have just shoved pre. But I think when we had almost 20 big blind, we can definitely Ace-10 suited, definitely hand we have to defend. So much playability. And if he makes small c-bets, we can definitely call with the backdoor stuff. And I think 1/3 is small enough that we can stick on the pot still. Kind of interesting board because he can have so many semi-bluff hands as well. But I think we have to fold still against that sizing. If it was queen of heart, I would probably shove here, but well, don't like the fold button, but I suppose that's probably the only option. Probably the only option we have. Oh, we have combo draw with the ace-2s. Well, I think we can just go for, we can check the call definitely, but I think just check raising. We have so much equity that it's going to be totally fine. It's pretty nice if we get him to fold pretty much anything. And let's go for 3 big blind open raise. I mean, I have limped him a couple of times and he has been just checking back, so I don't like to take limp that much, that hand especially. So now we are on the heads up 500 euro, so it's going to be 700 euro. So it's going to be actually like 280 euro heads up basically. Okay, deuces, we are so deep that we definitely can't be like 3-bet shove, obviously. We are like, how deep we actually are? Like 80 big blind or something, but I think we can definitely go for raise here. Maybe we should make it like 4 BP actually, but because the stack is so deep. Stack is so deep. And I think I will just stab once here. And we had some backdoor straight draw possibility here, but now I will just give up. Maybe if it comes hard and he checks, we can think about bluffing, but yeah, I don't think it makes too much sense here overall. Well, that was okay. Well, he had quite a big heart, so understandable flop call. Kind of interesting that he's limping. Seems like he's limping a lot. I personally wouldn't use limping with these really deep stacks. But if he's limp happy guy, that heads up can take like a decade. Because one of the things is that if players are limping a lot, it also tends to keep the pot sizes much smaller overall, and it tends to make the heads up games absurdly long. But of course it depends, like single setup situation might end the game, so in general this is going to be double barrel situation here on the MTT. But pretty happy if he folds on the flop right away. And again he's limping. I think if we can go for check raise here, I mean we are so deep stacked that I mean yeah we can face of course the 3-bet also, but I think in general it's going to be relatively rare. And it's really drawy board, so if we had like Queen X, some decent Jack X, I would size it around that as well, and we actually hit the flush. There are still a lot of busted draws that we could have, so I think we want to go fairly big here. Okay, this guy triple barreled. He probably has something. I don't know, maybe we should go even bigger tier on the river. In here we can definitely just check back. Not too much point in c-betting. And often I would expect like at least 10x, 3x to bet here, so I will go for small value bet, denying equity. But he calls, I will just check back. I don't think we get too many better hands to fold. Oh, he had the weak 5x. Weak 5x. If he limps again, I think we can go for value raise with decent suited king. Ace is kind of interesting card. I think we can still go for, we have pretty strong kings, so I think I will still go for bet and aim for free showdown unless we improve on the river. See, so do we still have to take the breaks? It's kind of stupid that we don't have I am ready button at all. Well, I suppose we have to take that. Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't want the stacks to be quite that deep. I think I will go for check raise here. Of course, he can have some better hands, but it's then Euro game, some random guy probably, so we can get a ton of weaker hands to continue. Seems like the SNCs are dying on the 25 euro. So did this guy really hit that flop? Now also the pretty much everything completed. So to fold. This Fox Lady was actually chip leader on the like middle situation of the MTT, like when there was 40 players or so. But yeah, I think this day will be over 1,000 euro profit, whatever we get second or first here on the MTT. So one of the best, probably best day for this year actually. I mean, when I was playing the Supernova Elite on the stars, I had something like, I think best days were like $4,000 up or something. But there was also big downswing days as well. I don't know how common it is, by the way, that at least stars have that option, that at least in MTT SNGs, at least earlier when I was playing, it had the I am ready button, so that if the players didn't want to have the break, they could just continue right away. But yeah, this heads up might, like if it happens to go long, this can be, I think, well over 1 hour. This is actually kind of decent hand to be triple barreling on the bottom left, because we obviously have a lot of really solid hands in our range, and our lane doesn't have big sets here ever. Ace King unlikely as well, so blinds went up, and the villain is limping. We can't fold bottom pair, at least to single bet. And of course, he can still have a huge amount of semi bluffs here. But let's just give up. We don't have any chances to improve outside of 5 out, so I think it's pretty fine to just fold here. And yeah, I will go for, well, we could also check back. I will just check back. We don't have huge amount of fold equity probably against king highs and such, so I think I will just check here again and aim for showdown with our jack high. Might be good some portion of time at least, and I don't know again like how often we get him to fold king high or better. Suited ace I will again go for. I mean, this guy is limping, seems like he's limping every hand probably, so And we actually hit the top pair here. Let's see if it's good or not. And it's not good, but we hit one of our zillion outs. A pretty dry flop, so going for 20,000, 25,000 would be fine as well. I mean, especially when he's the one limp calling, his range is pretty capped, so I think we can go really small here and put his range into tough spots. Again, kind of. Well, I suppose we could go for c-bets. We have so many backdoor stuff that can come and that we can double barrel at least. Ace-3 I won't be raising if he limps, and probably limps. This is going to be check call on the flop with the gut shot and a high. And no point to really bet here. Oh, he goes over pot size. Well, I think I just give up 10. Pocket 8 I will stack off here top left, so his sizing is extremely big, but at the same time 8 is quite a big hand for our range here. And again he has the king. Well, lucky river on the bottom left. 10-9 again is not hands that I won't necessarily build the pot, and of course, as he seems to be limping every hand, the issue is that he of course can have really big hands as well when he's limping, at least from the fact that he has been limping every hand so far. That is probably his tactic. Also, so far he hasn't been 3-betting single time against my open raise. Well, pocket 5s is a bit too weak to call that 20 big blind. 20 big blind shove. Well, he can have so many value hands, and it's not like. Well, of course, there are a decent amount of busted draws as well. But okay, we finished 5th. Oh Jesus, I hate these players. Like, this heads up takes so long, most likely. We don't really block any of the draws pretty much with 7-9. Okay, it seems like I could actually use those. I had some tickets, I think. €2 heads up. Jack on the river. Well, probably I have to call anyway. Well, I don't know. He probably has that quite often, but... And I don't know if he's like ever going to be value betting weaker like that. 2 pair or something. Well, I'm not going to play serious with this. I will just shove any to every spot using that €2 ticket. I think I will go for bluff here. We have a nice 8 blocker here and so on. And also we can have the 7x and easy game 6-3 nuts. That's the way you play. Heads up. Way the professionals play. But yeah, not interested to play seriously those games. It's kind of weird if he bets the river because I can have decent amount of AX and I would expect 4x to bet on the turn pretty often or flop. And he had weaker king but had hit the flop. Did I have some other tickets? Yeah, we had this Hexa Pro, €2 Hexa Pro ticket also. One crappy flop on the bottom left. Top pair and decent flush draw. And this guy makes 3 X's. Pretty nice hand to 3-bet, but against that open raise size, I can't really do that. I would be pretty much committed after making any sort of small 3-bet. I will be checking back the turn because I can't really go for 3 street value unless I hit like 7 of diamond on the river. That would be something. But we have pretty solid bluff catcher here. No €20. And he actually value bet the weaker hand. I think it's pretty fine value bet with small sizing that he did, but I don't really think we can go for value raised here. I should have probably shoved pre-flop with that. 5-3. I have to fold if he bets the turn. 6 did complete quite a lot of possible stuff. It's kind of funny in a way that he haven't been 3-betting a single time when I have open raised almost every hand. And we got action and suck out. Again, easy game. Easy game. Four. Ricket. Oh, pocket nines. First time he open folds probably. I also have €5 Hexapro ticket. Well, this is actually some game that I could try to play seriously. Well, that is solid flop. Solid flop. Tried to bet that amount. And 4 of heart actually does open some semi bluffs we could have. Kind of bad that the hearts came. It does make our getting value a lot tougher. I think we can't go really big. And hopefully he doesn't raise us because, well, I think I will call anyway, but I won't be liking the situation really. And this one weird bet, would this be some sort of stupid, totally idiotic? Yeah, it is. And ace on the river. Nice. Well, we got chips in, really good. We have got shot on the bottom left. Well, let's try to sort of float. And we have best hand quite often on the, and then value bet. I don't know, versus cutoff open half pot, just fold. And again, I don't really like to raise that ace deuce necessarily pre-flop. I think even flop call is kind of probably thin side because there really ain't that much chances to improve. But at the same time, it really feels a bit weak to just fold a high right away. I mean, if the ace comes, he's probably not really putting us on the AX, so we can get some nice implied value. And it probably goes check on the river. This guy really doesn't fold pre-flop. Deuce 4 off. I mean, you can defend obviously wide, but I think deuce 4 off is something you can just happily fold, even against win raise. At least in my opinion. In my opinion, at least. We actually need 2 pairs. I think it changes the situation in a way that it's really tough to fold, because he might be also value betting some better 10x sometimes. Of course it does also improve well, especially against that sizing. I'm not folding. He had the 3 as well. 3 as well, everything. I'm pretty surprising that he bets so small, in my opinion at least. I would be pumping a lot bigger. Well, practical setup again. It's nice when you are on the better side of those often. Well, that was one nasty board run. One nasty board run. Well, this is probably the most passive pre-flop player I have ever seen. Not a single raise, not a single 3-bet. That's kind of quite something. Let's see if we can limp on the left table. Not trapping this time. We can be, of course, ahead with the king 10, but we also block some of the pretty sensible semi-bluff hands with the 10x, so not huge fan of calling necessarily with that holding. Okay, I still have these slot things here to waste time on. One thing in my game is that I tend to be checking a lot, even against limpers. That's maybe something that I should. But it depends. Like, this player has been decently aggro on the flop c-bet side, I think. Yeah, I think we want to go for a bet here. I think we can have a good amount of drawing hands on the four deuce departments. So we'll then might hero call with some 10x, jack x type of hands often. This is kind of flops that we can obviously see, but I mean, if they will then check raises, it's going to be really nasty. I think I will go for turn c-bet. And that was the river we didn't want to see. Well, he had the ace. Well, lucky bastard. Well, he got free turn, so. But obviously not too much chances for overcards on that flop. Ten bonus points. But yeah, this promotion kind of sucks, at least for me, because I'm not really that interested about these cash tickets. Probably pretty tough, like maybe we get some king high or something to call if we bet the river, but no more spins available. What the hell? Fuck. He does know how to 3-bet in heads up. Ace on the turn. Of course, well, we can have some like 8-9 suited type of hand with backdoor flush draw that we could be bluffing here. Continue on the flop 3-bet. And well, this is actually hand we could 4-bet as well, but do I want to do it against this guy? And we are fairly deep stacked, so I will go for flat. Can't really fold suited ace. I think this is flops that we would want to check back if the will lane bets and mainly call when he's betting. Now we actually get gut shot. No point to bet if he bets. If he checks. No point to bet if he bets. Darn. Kind of problem is that this is actually quite decent bluff catching hand in general, because we don't block spades. We block, well, ace deuce, and ace will block some of like ace king, aces. But the issue is that if he bets the river, he can still have so many like pocket tens, checks, and so on. Well, that was interesting 3-bet hand. Interesting 3-bet hand, I would say. And that is in sarcastic tone, meaning that it's pretty absurd to 3-bet. Jack deuce off or whatever it was. Like, I think it's pretty much the worst possible hand to be 3-betting. Really pure playability and fairly easily dominated. I mean, if I have any sort of Jack X from like Jack 8 plus, I will be calling. So I think we just want to raise here. And he folds probably some sort of cut shot or something, or really weak pair. I think this will actually be biggest single cash I have ever had if I win this one. Haven't been playing much of the MTTs, so I think earlier biggest ones have been from like $200 6 max essences and then probably some of the 180 mens or 45 mens. No point to really bet here. We might be good some portion of time anyway. And we are. I mean, we are still 30 big blind deep here, so no point to be limping much, especially as at least so far he haven't been 3-betting often, even though he did show that he's 3-betting with some total garbage. I would think that my hand is really often best here. At least he should be betting like 8 and 9x pretty much always. And we actually improved the 2 pair, but we can't really value bet this river. In my opinion, it would be extremely thin flush and straight draws completing, and we also don't really have premium 2 pair. Yeah, I think I will go for check call here. And if it's blank river, we can then value bet if it goes checked. And not the greatest river card. I think we have to fold if he bets. I mean, we can beat some like 9x type of hand, but luckily he didn't bluff. I think that would have been pretty decent river bluff hand, blocking some of the straight and some of the flushes, so and some of the 2 pairs, and not too much showdown value. 40. Yeah, I think that is 3.5 big blind, or at least close to it. Close to it anyway. Well, now we are 20 big blind deep, so perhaps he starts to 3-bet more. 4-3 we don't really have much, also the 5 will be to idiot end straight draw, so I think I will just check here, and I can think about. I think I will check again if he checks, and if he checks the river, we can then think about bluffing. But yeah, I think he will connect here on that spot so often that it doesn't really make too much sense to be giving action. But yeah, if he doesn't 3-bet, I will be continue with the min raise, at least with the stack depth. Is 9-10, bit better for our bit better for our range overall. I mean, this guy has been defending pretty close to any 2, maybe even any 2, so we should have decent amount of fold equity here. And we have, well, of course, like in heads up, the ranges are so wide that even if we have like all the sets and all the 2 pairs in our range, it's not really like that big of a deal overall, because we still have so much crap as well. This is actually turn cards that we should often be leading ourselves. We can also lead like some semi bluffs here. Because the thing is, if we check and he has the AX, he should be checking back decent amount of time. So, and we don't really necessarily want that. And I think on the river we want to go decently big here. And again hope that he doesn't shove. I would probably fold if he shoves because it would look so extremely strong. Now he 3-bet shoved. Yeah, we probably want to start adding some of the limping range and see how he reacts to it. At least with more playable hands that we definitely don't want to be raise folding. Queen 4, we have some tiny bit of backdoor stuff. Well, this will be just giving up hand. We could have just checked the flop and try to go just for showdown. Pretty much always also. Well, if he checks, I think we could think about betting because we would play like AX type of hand, some pocket pairs like that. Pocket tens and he snap folds again. Voila! This one I will be just checking back. We have some showdown value and chances to improve. And no point to raise here. I think we still don't really have such a strong hand that we would want to stack off here necessarily. So at this point there is only one king X remaining. Also, if he had any sort of two pairs on the turn, those are also counterfeited. Yeah, this is sort of spots that if he has busted draw, he's not going to give value most of the time against any sizing, unless he's occasionally check raising some busted draw. But okay. That's the downside of that line, especially when we have such hand, but at the same time it's pretty nice to also have the torso playability. In the case that he does call. Yeah, we are now a bit deeper, so well, of course he might be 3-bet shoving still often, but these are nasty, of course, if we face delayed check raise. It tends to be relatively rare, and of course it happens now. But I don't have any chances to really improve, so this will be a bet folding hand. I mean, I can have a lot of stuff that's like Jack 10 type of hand or something like that. I might check on the flop also. Much better hands to continue and so on, or pair plus spade in my hand and so on. So much more chances to improve with those hands. we actually have double gutshot here. Oh, he raises. Well, we often still have the 8th outs. 8th outs. So yeah, I don't think we get quite the price, but at the same time we have some implied. Well, I don't know. Time out. Well, hopefully he 3-bets now. Of course, on the previous hand, it's possible that he also has the flush draw sometimes, so it's questionable if we can count 8 outs necessarily. And he then folds when he hasn't been folding almost at any point when I have the queens. Actually, there has been quite many hands that I have had like big pocket pair and he just open folds or folds the raise, even though he has been playing almost any 2. So it's kind of funny that it has happened a few times when I have the premium hand. But as said, this heads up takes a long time. It has been 40 minutes now from the break we had. Well, really coordinated board. In this one I will increase my sizing somewhat because it's way more coordinated than most of the flops so far. So if I see bet, it will be with bit bigger sizing. And he raises. We definitely want to just call here. Of course, if he has like 2 pairs, he's most likely going to stack off anyway, but I think overall we want to definitely have some of the straights in just tapping range. Fucking 10. That's the downside of just calling. But if he checks here, I think I will be just checking back, and then we see the river, and because this is something that I would do with most of my range anyway. But if he checks the river, I think we can just shove it and hope that he heroes with some of the 2 pairs. Because basically at this point most of our value range will be, well, especially if we shove, it's going to be just straights pretty much. But I mean, yeah, if we make it really small, we can maybe have some sets or like top 2 pairs or something like that. Yeah, that's a downside of just calling, that sometimes it comes crappy turn like that, and at the same time he might be sometimes like just bluffing with some garbage. I think we just want to raise here with bottom 2. It's not such ultra deep stack situation anymore that we wouldn't be happy to stack off here. And Jesus. Fuck you. Oh well. Oh well. So basically he had well 2, 5, well 8 out, so basically around 18% equity or something. Well, that was enough this time. went actually a bit too big sizing. Was trying to bet 24,000, but or 20 something, whatever it was. I think I will check back here. We can't really go for 3 street of value most likely, so by checking the turn we can have some really solid river hands in the river range. And maybe against that specific hand we could have got 3 street, but we still need to beat more than 50% of the calling range if we triple barrel, and it's kind of questionable if how often that actually happens. Well, of course this flop is good for our range, definitely for our value range, so I think I will try to see it, but he might have something decently often here as well. Fold. You only have 7-6 suited or something. Maybe not. Oh well, nasty in a way that we can have so many nutty hands here. Though it's kind of funny in a way that I haven't really had value hands that much when he has limped here. I mean, it has been mostly just some garbage hands that I have been raising, but yeah, I would be raising the big hands as well if we actually had some of those. If he didn't open fold every time I had something big. This is going to be value hand, in my opinion, so it's going to be kind of bottom of the value range. 10 minutes and it's going to be new break. Well, we have some backdoors queen high. I think we can peel the flop turn if he bets. But nothing that improves our equity, so this will be folding spot. Kind of nasty that we have two hands when I flop the straight. That if it was somewhat blank turn, we might have gotten in quite often if he actually had some sort of hand. Well, I'm not going to fold here, obviously, and I think I would just shove over his 3-bet. Hopefully we don't face into some setup spot. Well, he didn't snap call, so I mean, if he has better hand, he should be snap calling. So good news when he doesn't snap call. I don't actually like that 7-5 hand when we turn the 2 pairs. That when he shoves over my check raise, I don't really understand again logic in that, because when I go for the check raise, I'm basically already saying that if it's for value, my hand is going to crush your king 6. So yeah, in my opinion, it's kind of weird that he went for 3-bet shoved here. I mean, yeah, if I have some big combo draw, I might be calling, but when he shoves, I will be just folding quite a lot of the weaker hands, to be honest. So I don't think it's really optimal line at all. Unfortunately, we don't have 10-9. think it's pretty tough to beat mods like Queen Jack, but we also block that. Maybe some like 8x if he turns it into bluff or something, but I think folding is the best played here. And yeah, that straight hand, of course, shoving flop would be a good option as well. But I mean, it's pretty nice to have some of those straights in the just flatting range to strengthen the calling range. We can basically stack off any turn decently happily. Six Jack. I think these are kind of. I think I will call against this, but we also have Jack High that might have some showdown value, but these are kind of nasty hands to call in a way that even if this happens, we basically have bluff catcher mostly. But yeah, we were good all the way. If he 3-bets here, I will be shoving again. It's pretty nice hand overall. And here I will just check back the not flush draw. And if he bets the turn, we can definitely call. And now he probably checks. We will be betting like 50,000 or so. It's 45,000. Well, maybe we could go bigger as well, but 20 big blind. 20 big blind stack depth. Well, this will be a pretty decent call to second barrel with our gutshots as well. But if he bets third street, I will probably give up. Well, we had the same hand. I think it's kind of interesting turn bets already, because how often you get weaker hands to call. I can have a lot of like 10 Jack, 10 9, Jack 9 type of hands here. So it's not like unlikely that I could have the 9x here, of course Queen X as well, and some better 8x. Well, also some weaker 8x of course. And with deuces I will just ship. It's going to be always plus EV. Like even if the villain knows that my range it would be like pocket deuces to pocket sixes or something, it's still going to be profitable. This will be just check raise on the flop. We have decent, and he has been betting flop quite frequently, so well, that was awesome. No idea why he bets the flop or why he sums to against my raise, but that was awesome. Did the client crash now? Oh, you didn't get anything. This was just play money. Let's take the image. So I still haven't got four figure. Yes. In the dollars it would be 4 figure, but it's in the euros, so maybe some other time. But yeah, this has been awesome session. So my profit is €1,450 and 13 cents. So I have to say that This is best session in long time. Of course, when you play SNGs, mainly this sort of things doesn't happen often. But I basically also nice to note that what was the yeah. So I made almost 500 euro from the SNGs as well. So it has also it was really good. Really good day from that view as well. I could actually check here on this video this pocket 7's hand at least, or I could actually show all the hands that I have here in this video also, and I have the zoom on. So this was the spot where we raised this. Let's actually close the client so we don't get any issues with using Hold'em resources at the same time. So I don't think most of the clients or sites are really that interested about it, but so yeah, I think this spot it was fine to just give up because we are still relatively early positions, so it's not like that great spot. And the ante is 5 players 800, I think. And I don't have really the prize pool here, but we can use the 180 men. It's probably somewhat close anyway. So we went for 2 BP and the 3-bet is I think around 6 big blind, I think. So let's see what the Hold'em resources range is as default would look like. So in here I would open 26%. Cutoff would 3-bet. This sort of range, and if we 4-bet it would be, well, in these ranges 7s would actually be in the 4-bet shoving range, even though it would be actually be the hand itself would actually be somewhat minus EV. But I suppose it would be for the range balance or something like that. But yeah, I think folding it here was, and we can't really, like, shoving or folding are the only reasonable options. Calling doesn't really make any sense here overall. Then this was actually kind of, I don't know, might have been spooky. I don't have the hand history here, but basically I'm not totally sure if I remember if I raised or limped pre-flop, but on the flop I made small bet, villain called, mainly just trying to get some of the equity to fold. On the turn we turned the gut shot, so I went for check call, and here on the river I checked and villain bet 50,000, and I thought this would probably be pretty decent hand to be shoving, in a way that if the villain has like, and this Da Vinci guy, at least so far, had seemed pretty solid player. So I mean, if he has like something like ace jack type of hand, even he might be. I think I opened wrist pre-flop and he called, so he might be folding. And I mean, this only needs to work. The pot is 123,000, so it doesn't need to succeed extremely often from risk reward side. Of course it depends, some players might be just snap calling here with any AX, but this guy seemed pretty solid, and I had been playing pretty solid, so. And my main idea here was that I at least block the straight heavily, so portion of his snap call range. And of course he might have like, I don't know if he has like ace 8 or ace 6 if those are folding ever, but. And of course he might even have the best hand here, but I was thinking just that when it's blind versus blind, I see bet small and call, that he might also sometimes try to value bet, like if he has like pocket nines or something. So didn't want to just call here. I mean, I think folding is going to be better overall, probably. But yeah, I don't know. It worked. He folded. Maybe it was just lucky outcome. Yeah, this one I don't remember. I was thinking about, do I want to call? I think this was one of those where Lane raised small pre-flop. I think this guy was min raising all the time, so I called it. And called flop and turn and was thinking about, do I want to call the river or not, but decided to fold. I mean, we don't block any like 7x. We have the blocker to some 2 pairs and some blocker against the flush, so I don't know. I just decided to fold here because the wheel lane had not been triple barreling so far, so mainly he had been betting flop, checking turn, or betting flop and turn and checking river, so of course it's pretty scary card on the river, so he might fire it and we get pretty nice price, so probably we should pretty often call it here, but decided to just give up. This one was actually quite interesting. Was it actually against? Yeah, it was against the same guy. So he had raised here, I defended. He c-bet flop, smallish, I call. And he checked the river, I bet something like 70, I think 70% of the turn. He calls and checks the river, and here I decided to go for 1.5x. I mean, if I make decent size or almost any size here, my main value range is still going to be just full houses, so I think going for big bet, over bet here make a lot of sense with the bluffs as well. He folded here, and this was actually from the SNC game, so but yeah, those were at least the interesting hands, probably some other as well, but it's going to be so tough to find any hands overall. Well, of course, now that I only have one MTT, it's a bit easier to find from the MTT department. So maybe I check find some of these hands and put on the blog or something as well. But we'll be posting this to my YouTube channel at least. Not too often that I actually win some MTT, so that was a pretty nice surprise. But anyway, if you liked this video, please click like button and maybe subscribe for my channel to get any new content. But anyway, thanks for watching and bye.